G'day good people, just thought I'd give you an update. Currently we've got 165 backers and we're about 36% into our Australian $70,000 goal, which is about 50,000 American dollars. So good on you people for supporting the challenge. Anyone that hasn't done so, just check it out, no obligations. So some admin affairs. A lot of people have been concerned that the videos are just going to stop cold turkey. Well, I was a bit unclear with my previous video, sorry about that. I've still got plenty of videos from the past that I am working on right now. I'm trying to catch up. Remember COVID? Well, there's a lot of work that I missed out on. So there's a whole bunch of old crew that you haven't even seen. There's Delos, there's some other crew, and then there's some more crew. So we've still got plenty of videos. Now, with any luck, with the Kickstarter campaign, if everything goes well, those videos will run its course, or run their course, and then we'll go straight into the boat build. But things don't usually happen that way in this channel, but that's okay. Challenges are good. Anyway, on with the show. So why did I choose a Mumby 48? Now I should state straight away that I'm not going to get any freebies, perks or anything from the Mumby crowd. I did ring them up and say I was going to do this YouTube build on it, and he said, oh, I don't need you. And since I've announced it, I realised they don't need me, because not that there was that implication, it's just that there are already hundreds of people around the world that have got the plans and that are going to build them, or are building them, or are going to build them. And so, look, it's a proven design. It's been proven for, what, more than 20 years now. Why do I think? This is just an honest opinion. They're the safest, fastest, and best cat you can get on a tight budget today, and you can build them yourself, okay? I like the idea because generally if you buy a cat or a second-hand cat, they're going to be completely fitted out to the nines and all these things that I don't really need. So if I build it, it's going to be quite bare inside, so I can have that choice. Making that choice, the fit out, the making it look all beautiful inside is a huge expense, so we can save a lot of dollars still getting the performance of the catamaran. Yeah, it's not going to be so nice on the inside, but we're still going to prove or do the Elcano challenge. So why would you want to sail around the world on a catamaran when you could sail on a monohull? Well, I would say the single biggest consideration that I can think of is speed. And with speed comes safety. And if you can sail the catamaran fast, you can shorten the time that you're doing passages. If you can do twice the speed, even it doesn't even have to be twice the speed, but if you can reduce your time out in the middle of nowhere, you're certainly going to have less of a chance of getting clobbered by a big storm. Now, also, if you've big storms coming and there's a port close by, you can actually beat it in, or if the storm's coming this way, you can skedaddle that way and get out of the way because you are fast. I mean, theoretically, you can find a high pressure system and place yourself in a perfect spot between two isobars, and you can sail those two isobars your entire crossing, provided the high pressure goes where you want to go, because you can keep up. So what you're doing is, it's this huge safety. You're having the same weather, same wave direction, same clouds, same wind direction, all on the same journey. Now, it might be boring, but you're certainly going to cover a lot of distance, and there's no real danger. Actually, on this topic, I was thinking the other day, what would I do if I was in a storm and I was on one of these production catamarans that I didn't think too highly of, you know, the ones with the high profile, high boom, high center of effort from the wind, all this windage, and they've got mini keels and they're fat, tubby. Look, I could go on, but the mini keels they can trip over. Well, I think I could open up a brick factory, people, because I would be shitting bricks. I just want you guys to know there are safer boats out there to buy. Over the next few weeks, we will examine things to look for. Okay, that's enough of that. Just for a bit of information, why is a catamaran faster than a monohull? Now you probably already realise why just from common sense, but just to go into it, let's have a look at, well, there's two things. Mainly there's skin surface area drag and there's wave making drag. Now the one that punishes monohulls the most is the wave making drags, because basically it's ploughing its way through the sea and it creates a bow wave, and correspondingly there's a stern wave. Now these peaking waves, there's a trough between, and the monohull sits in that, and that limits its speed. Yes, it's got a lot of hull and there's a lot of skin surface area drag too, but it's primarily limited by that wave making drag. Now in catamarans, they don't have that situation because they're so, well, let's just talk about performance catamarans for starters. They've got very, very sharp hulls, and so they're not actually ploughing and moving the water aside, they're actually flitting over the surface. So there's no real wave making drag. So, and because the wetted area of a catamaran is much less, there's way less skin surface area drag. There are catamarans and there are catamarans. Please note that this catamaran here is only 45 feet. The draft is more than double, and if we guesstimate the cross-sectional area of the Mumby onto the production cat, we can see the huge difference. But there's also another problem with this production cat. Now with the tubbier hulls, what I think is happening is you get way more wave interference between the hulls, and if that's slapping up against the bridge deck, and quite often these production catamarans don't have the greatest bridge deck, you're getting even more drag there. So look, it's really, really slowing this boat down, and especially if you've got a messy sea, they're even going to go slower. Now note, this is in a bay with tiny waves and chop, and this cat is still slamming its bridge deck into the water. How the hell can this catamaran go at any speed in open water conditions? Short answer is it can't, and the journey will be a slamming, slow hell ride. But it's not all bad. See, this guy is smiling, and this guy is happy too. Yes, there are reasonable production cats out there for you to buy. Just try and avoid the very slow, heavy ones that may just get you into trouble one day. In this Elcano challenge, we need speed for the hydro regeneration, which is basically the moving the propellers. As you sail fast, the props move, and they in turn drive the electric motors, which charge the batteries. And the faster we go, the more power we get. So I understand speed is not for everyone, but it's just good to have that option. So when the shit hits the fan, you can skedaddle quickly. That's all. So how else can you get good speed? Well, you can make the thing lighter. Now I know I seem to be flogging this Mumby 48, it's just that I really am sold on the design. I wish I was getting some perks, people. Aluminium's very light. Let's have a look at some of these figures here. This is just a range of figures. Now look at how light the Mumby catamaran is. So that's another consideration, because it's going to take less sail area to get it propelling at a greater speed. So that's safety in itself, because you don't have to have a massive sail up to get this boat going. I just got reminded looking at that HH44, it's actually a 49 footer, so it's very similar to the Mumby size. Someone wrote in and said, hey, why don't you do what the Winds are doing and go all electric with a HH44? Winds is another sailing channel. And I thought, interesting. Now, we're trying to raise 70,000 Australian dollars, which is approximately 50,000 American dollars. So if we times it by 10, we'd get this. If we doubled it, we'd get this. We still wouldn't be able to afford a HH44. The Winds is a big elephant, luxurious elephant over there. We wouldn't even be the flea to get on that elephant. So it's a bit different. So we're going to have to go very budget. So, but it's a nice idea. Anyway, they're also very, very good cat, but they are heavier. And there's a lot of modern convenience on it. I was on a HH55 and I was surprised. I was actually surprised how, bits were falling and the cabinet work was breaking apart. So let's see how they go with that. All right, I think we've done speed to death. Next week I'm going to look at some ratios that you should look at when you're looking at a catamaran. Many people think this is an important guide to assess a vessel's stability, the beam to length ratio. And yes, it is a guide, but using it on production catamarans like this one nowadays is a whole lot of rubbish and will mislead you. Any salesman quoting this ratio to you is lying to you. Stay tuned for the next discussion and more to follow on aspects of catamarans you need to consider before buying. I've been working hard catching up on the Gigi and Clara videos, so hopefully one will come out tonight. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Watch them, reminisce, and remember what sailing into freedom #1 was like. Currently, I'm a bit like that little caterpillar, you know, crawling on that tree in your back garden. Small, mostly unloved, always getting into trouble. But if you want this little caterpillar to grow up into a big, beautiful, well, let's face it, a big, ugly moth, well, then join the Kickstarter campaign, become part of the crew and a part of the adventure. Top stuff, and good night.